Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. So I thought I would do one final experiment with this Polyvine acrylic crackle glaze that I've got. So I've had 2 attempts so far. So first one I got varying different degrees in kind of like the crackle depending on the thickness of the paint and the thickness of the crackle glaze, and also applying it with a spatula as against a brush. The second attempt I got more consistent kind of results, similar sized kind of crackles, but it was the application of the top coat of paint that caused the issue on this one. Some areas that didn't get any crackles in it at all. So having looked at the rest of the comments that people have left, the advice that other people have left, and my own kind of figuring it out, I think I know now how to get the best out of it. So I'm going to apply the crackle glaze that I've got here. Now, as you can see, I've already pre-gessoed a canvas in black like I did with the other two, so that we have a kind of consistent effect. I'm going to brush the crackle glaze on. I have divided it into 3 this time as opposed to 2. I'm making sure I get a fairly even coat of the crackle glaze all the way everywhere, kind of consistent coat, and I'm applying it in a horizontal brush stroke. So I'm going from left to right on my canvas. Now obviously I've masked off just 2 dividers on this one rather than the one like I did before, because I want to use 3 different colours on this. So that's the second kind of block. I must admit this crackle glaze has actually gone quite a long way. It's lasted really long. I would have thought that I would have actually gone through it a lot quicker doing these experiments than I actually have, but there's plenty left, which is quite good, which I'm rather happy about. So consistent amount of the crackle glaze, and according to the instructions on the bottle, or on the jar if you like, it says 10 to 15 minutes drying time, or 15 to an hour depending on temperature and humidity. Well, obviously I'm indoors, but we have discovered that this crackle glaze doesn't mind being dried with a heat gun. So you can cheat if you're short on time. I'm just adding a little bit to the sides. I'm not going mad, just adding a little bit. And I think that will do me. So I'm going to allow this to dry, and then I'll be back when this is done. Okay, so the crackle glaze is now dry, and I've pulled out 3 Dina Wakley paints that I'm going to use on this tester canvas. So I've got olive, Sedona and marine, so kind of darker colours, and I've put some of the paint in my little paint palette just here onto the side, but I've also put a little bit of water with it because I want to just mix the paint with a little bit of the water just to make it a little bit more viscous, and obviously it's going to go on the canvas a bit better if it's watered down slightly, and I'll try and not contaminate the paint. But okay, so I'm going to start with the left hand side. Now this time, because I went that way, with the paint horizontally. I'm going to go vertically with this paint, but what I am going to do is I'm only going to use short brush strokes this time. So that's all I'm going to do, just literally do short brush strokes rather than try to do long ones. And just get some paint down the side. Just adding it to the side just for a bit more consistency and effect. Just use up the last bits. Okay, as you can see, that seems to be working. So I'm just going to clean off my brush. So we'll start with a clean brush. Just quickly dry it off. And then do the same thing to the Sedona. Just mix that up. And then we can start adding that paint to the edge. I'll just add that just like that. So by doing short brush strokes, well, at least with the olive, I seem to be getting a more consistent effect with the Crackle Glaze. So rather than try and do long brush strokes, do short ones. Again, while that's reacting, I'll clean that brush off in some water, and then I'll start mixing up the marine. I'm not that bothered if I get a little bit of cross-contamination into this bit. So a real nice kind of concentration of cracks there. So again, I'll go up the edges first, this time down the side, just single brush strokes. I'm hoping that you're picking, or you can pick this up. drop that back down and then get the paint, and then off we go. Smaller brush strokes. I'm hoping the camera's actually picking this up because it's not, and it's not too dark. Yeah. It's kind of like a one shot. You only get the one chance at it. So obviously that needs to kind of dry. I've now got no finger holds around the outside, so I'm going to leave that. I'm going to let it sit for a good hour or so, but I'm pretty happy with the overall consistent cracking that I'm getting with that, using that method. So, but time will tell. Let's wait for it to be dry, and then I'll show you what it looks like once I've removed the tape. Okay, so it's been a good hour and a half since I looked or even touched this. I've just removed the masking tape in between the two, or in between the three colour stripes, and there's been a little bit of leakage of the Crackle Glaze in between, but that's not too much of a problem. As you can see, I've got consistent cracking all the way on every single side. So it's more difficult to see with the blue than it is with the other two colours. But you can see I've got a real nice consistent cracking effect doing that. If you compare that to the previous ones, although you've got a consistent cracking there, it's actually bigger and more pronounced doing it with the short strokes in the opposite direction. And then obviously with that first one, that was applied with a spatula. The Crackle Glaze was applied with a spatula, and the paint was really kind of like overworked, and that paint was squirted on and then smoothed really, really quickly. I don't particularly like this one. I don't like that one. I do like this one, only because of the consistent cracking that you've got with that. But out of all three, the final one with that technique is, I think, far, far better and much more what I wanted in the first place. So I'm now happy that using this Polyvine Crackle Glaze, I can get the results that I want, and more importantly, Ian can get the results that he wants on that piece of artwork, which is why I started these experiments in the first place. So very, very happy with that indeed. So job done as far as I'm concerned. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that quick experimentation with that third technique. If you did, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, like I said at the beginning of the video, then you can do so by clicking the button at the end of this one. So that's all from me for now. I've now got to have a play and see how I can utilise these cracks in a proper art journal project. I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.